Hello and welcome to today's sit down. I'm your host, Jan Ragnerud, and I am excited as heck, as I always am, for you to be here today. And we're going to cover this. What's the fastest way to get buyer leads? So stay tuned. So today's episode is all about how to get fast leads, right? And buyer leads. And we all want this. Any organization, large or small, right? So here's some do's and some don'ts for you. I figured we'd start here because there's a lot of ideas and a lot of strategies that you can employ when it comes to getting fast leads. And really, it's this idea that you're here, you're stagnant, you've sort of stopped generating leads and you need to bump it up fast. Multiple strategies, but here's what not to do. So we're going to cover this here. First of all, don't start cold calling, okay? Common, right? We're just going to dial for smile, smile and dial, whatever that expression is. It's outdated, man. That's why I can't even remember it. Do not start there. Next thing is, hey, we want to just mail more, and I'm talking about direct mail. So anything that goes out, that's 3D mailers and postcards and, all kinds of goodies that you send out in the mail, don't do that, okay? Third here is we're just going to add $10,000 to our paid media and make sure we spend that each month. Just fill that budget up and let it rip, right? Or whatever that budget is for you. Just add more money to paid ads. That's it. Don't do that either. By the way, I didn't mention it. It's a little controversial here today, but stick with me, okay? So here we go. Hire another salesperson, a business development person, hey, we got to get a high profile salesperson in here, 100, 120, 150, 200K. That guy, that gal, they're going to rock it for us. It's going to go fast. Get them in there. Hire them up, right? Not good. Sit in meetings discussing all day long. We've all been there. I've certainly had my fair share. This is very common. We're going to now sit in there every day and discuss to the ends meet. Not a good strategy. You don't want to do that. It's not about discussing strategy here, as you'll see today. Next, we buy a whole bunch of followers, maybe on Twitter, we buy some likes, if everybody likes us, hey, that's a great way to position our brand and we can get some great attraction from that. Don't do that. However, this idea of likes and followers, if you're using it correctly with a ad strategy for perhaps on Facebook, I talk about that in some other videos. So make sure you watch this channel and get all of that data. And by the way, I'm going to have some future ad strategies where likes actually can work for you. So a little bit of a in quotes there for you. Email spam on LinkedIn. So if you're in the B2B space, we need more leads, hey, I'm just going to reach out to the top influencers and I'm going to tell them all about me, how great I am, and how can I help you, right? Completely just cold emailing directly to your network. Not a good strategy. So all of this is just basically this. Stop it, right? Don't do that. Now, next, we're going to cover what to do to get fast lead growth. And this is very, very exciting because it works. And it works now, right? So the first thing is, and you've heard me talk about this, is go to your web analytics. And by the way, there's an assumption here that you actually have some existing traffic. And we're going to show you very quickly how to generate some traffic here today. But we are making that assumption. So review analytics, look for patterns in your analytics. So the first one is obvious, right? Traffic, how much traffic this month versus last year, do some comparative analysis. Get a sense for what that looks like in your world, right? Okay. Now, what you do next is you start drilling into pages, and it's landing pages that we want. This idea that your content is already working at some level with your website. You need to drill into that and find out what those top pages are, and you'll locate that inside analytics. And in there, you'll see what type of content resonates with your audience. You're starting to get a hint here, right? Well, so if you know this partially, you want to know it fully by diving in here and find out what content is working. And of course, you've heard this before. If you watched other videos, you can now expand that content, so make it more authoritative, more sort of leadership oriented for SEO, for search engines, and certainly for your users. But really, what I'm talking about here is to take that idea and learn what the pages are and build out specific landing pages that really talk to that portion of your audience, that talks to that portion of your product or your service. So these landing pages become extremely what we call hyper targeted, right? And you can use different tools for this. Unbounce is a great tool if you don't want to get technical. Another one is leadpages.net, so you can bang these out, right? And get them into testing. So we're not talking about strategies forever here. We're talking about building them out and getting from strategies. Now, build those strategies out. But we get this all from reviewing analytics. So if you want to sit in a meeting, take analytics with you and share that and start mapping it out, right? Segment your email lists. You probably already have done this. If you haven't, that's not a smart strategy, but begin to do that. And then really send out based on those products or those services. If you have a nice broken out in this manner, or perhaps it's a demographic or a geographic that you have as far as a segmentation in the email list, well, send the offers, the messages to that list that you have and send them straight to the landing page. Because now you have found out what already is working here, and you want to target that down, send that list straight to those landing pages, and then here comes a big one. Interactive content and A/B testing. So it sounds a little advanced, but really it's this. If you're creating a landing page that's very specific, that is an awesome thing. So you have targeted traffic, targeted landing pages, targeted messages, right? Well, what you can do now is you can take that to the next level and test between A page, which is your existing, and the B page, which is a new one. And on this B page, put an interactive piece of content on there. So a quiz or an assessment where you ask them a series of questions to get that sort of micro commitment as they move through. So you're going to enhance that profile. You're going to create a lot better traction using that. But you don't have to do it. I'm just saying you should test it. And I mentioned that we are assuming that you have some traffic, but here's a way to build it very quickly. Use your email list. And if you're not building your email list, that is a must immediately. So add a pop-up that asks for their email in exchange. It's sort of the ethical bribe that you've seen and heard about, which is basically enter your email and you're going to get X, right, to help your life or business. And by the way, I didn't call this out yet, but this whole thing is predicated on this formula, which I call the internet success formula. It's really this: targeted traffic, right? Next is your message, your offer, whatever that thing is that speaks to your audience. And then finally, conversions, you know? So if you have 100 visitors that come in and they seem to resonate with an audience, maybe 10% or 20% opt in to something or take a next action in your series here. And then finally, you get one sale, so that's 1%. Well, you can tune that very quickly by tweaking it in the back end here. And so this strategy here, what I'm telling you to do is to look at your messaging, your positioning, your content, your pages that are working, and then also build out a higher and better landing page strategy. So that segmentation that I talked about, very good. The second thing in that sort of series is to create a message that speaks to it. And thirdly, A/B test it and tune it so that you can build those conversions. And if I go into any organization with this strategy, my minds and ears and eyes are going to pop open because it makes sense, right? We don't have to sweat and fret, frankly, over trying to build all these like weird traffic schemes when we have so much already built in the back end. Now, if you're brand new, I urge you to keep watching my episodes because I talk about how to build also from scratch. But most of the time, the clients that we deal with are in this area. So we want to take a look there with you. And if you have any questions about this, I'm going to throw up a link, as I always like to do, and you can have a quick chat with me or one of my associates, and that's where you can do that. So go ahead and click that link. And one thought here: if you want to do this on a much, much bigger scale, then this model works tremendously well. You're just going to scale it out by adding more team members to do this for you. And there's many ways to do that. And of course, one way is to just simply outsource it or hire people in to help you with this. And if you're a larger organization, yeah, you might want to consider a couple of these, for instance, hiring a salesperson, but only if this system is working. So instead of looking at the top and how we can drive more traffic, see what you can do with these strategies in the back end. And I am excited about this because I know you're going to take action today. So anyway, this has been another episode of the Sit Down, Take Action Today, and I'll see you in the next one.